Hey, I wanted to talk about something that's on nobody's mind but my own. Um, and it's making me crazy. I want to talk about it to people, but nobody's watching that I know of, that's watching the internet international. And I got about like 10 minutes. So sorry if I'm rushing through this and talking points are going back and forth. And if you're planning on watching it, it is the golf challenge on YouTube with no full-time pro golfers, all levels of golfers, just basically influencers who and all types of personalities who are doing this golf tournament, and it is so entertaining. And I have so many things to say. And tonight is going to be the finale, and we've been promised like so much drama for the last episode that the drama is gonna be, we're gonna be pissed at Dave Puny of Barstool Sports if there is no drama. But so far, I've been loving it, and there's gonna be spoilers if you plan on watching it. So, anyways, let me start on my takes. To start off, the whole thing takes place here in Missouri, in Springfield, at the Big Cedar Lodge and golf courses. Beautiful, absolutely amazing. We'll get into the par 3 course, which is like the coolest par 3 course you've ever seen. But it starts off, all of these influencers show up. They one of the first things that happens is they need a fill-in. There's a waitress there, or I don't know if she's what she does at Big Cedar Lodge, but she works for Big Cedar, and they say, hey, if somebody doesn't show up, can't we put you in? Do you golf? And she said, yeah, I golfed in college. She had like a +8 handicap. Lacey is her name. They end up putting her in. I'll probably get back to that later unless I forget. But they end up putting her in. They start off by voting on 2 captains. The captains go back and forth on picking their teams. It's Riggs and Bobby Berger of Bob Does Sports, who's my favorite YouTube golfer, and a lot of people's favorite, because just an absolutely awesome, funny guy and a terrible golfer, and we love him for that. Anyways, another thing I wanted to mention was during this time I remember seeing Riggs directly asking Paige Spiranac, who's also one of my favorite YouTube golfers. I've been following her for a while. Asking her to just stay by him as he's making these choices. And she says, don't worry, I'm going to be right there to be your liaison. Again, this is coming to a point that I'm going to go back to. As they're after they pick their teams, then they have to go into making pairs. And so one team will make a pair, the other team will decide on another pair that's going to go up against that pair. They end up picking Luke Kwan and PNF to play together. PNF is kind of a high handicap golfer. So Luke Kwan, who's played in the Chinese PGA, is like, don't worry, I'm your partner. I'm just going to win this game by myself. You got this. You could just sleep in. You don't even have to show up tomorrow. Guess who doesn't show up tomorrow? It wasn't PNF. It was Luke Kwan. Luke Kwan has a 9:30 tee time and doesn't show up for his 9:30 tee time. That starts. This is with a 2-man scramble on each team. That pisses Dave Puny off, and he ends up saying that out of these 9 holes, if he's not allowed to play until he knows people are going to go wake him up and get his ass there, but he says, like, he's already late. It's a 9:30 tee time. It's not like it's 6 a.m., which he's got a point. And he says, okay, he can't play until the 5th hole. And he gets there and he's being so cocky and so like, it's not a big deal. But he's losing his entire team a point, because at the end of the day, no matter how many holes you're up or behind, you get 1 point if you win the overall match for your team. And then he's also being kind of cocky to PNF. Like, he's doing his best job of playing. And he's like, dude, you suck. Finally, Kwan's able to play. The first hole, they drive it off the tee, and Kwan goes right into the water. Bobby Berger asked him to, like, when he sees him, he's like a little pissed, and he's like, dude, just take some accountability. His answer was like, well, it wasn't like I meant to sleep in, which is just so this ends up being a huge thing because they end up losing that match. They have another match in the second half of the day. The other team is celebrating Luke Kwan because it's won them the match. Luke Kwan later comes out with an apology video because he was just getting so much hate on the line. As much as I accept the apology, I do think he means it. It was the lesson in, like, what not to do for an apology, because there was, like, him saying, like, oh, I don't even care about the $1 million. I didn't think it was a big deal, you know, like, because I don't even care about money. And he was like, I thought PNF and I were cool like that, you know, like, I didn't think it was a problem. Anyway, second half, we get the best speech from Coach John Gruner, and they end up pairing them up together. They still end up overall losing, so Bobby's team is gone. I think that's going to change some things later in next year's match, because the problem with Bobby picking the team that he did was he basically picked a lot of people based off of who had the most personality. And the problem with that is then all the people with the vibes are gone after the first day. And as much as I hate Joey Cold Cuts, I would have loved for Joey to stick around long enough to watch one of his classic meltdowns. Anyways, Paige Sperneck starts getting a lot of hate. People saying, I've been following her, and people are in her comments saying how bad she sucks. I've always seen this from her. She's always kind of ignored that, even though she's been pretty interactive. She's pretty interactive with her fan base. You know, she will reply back to your comments if you're kind. She will reply back to your emails if she's not getting flooded with something, or, you know, if you're kind, she's very nice. She reads everything. She recognizes things. So the amount of hate is very unjustified for Paige Sperneck, because people just say she sucks. If she speaks up for herself at all, that she's a bitch. It's just, she was getting a lot of hate, and she posted an Instagram showing, like, a lot of comments that she got saying, you're a stupid fucking bitch, I hope you die. Just basic incel shit, threatening her, which is ridiculous. The next day, teams are split up again. We have a new set of teams. We got Frankie as the new guy, as the new leader. And he has Paige on his team, and Paige is very involved this time in like picking teams. They lose the first 9, but bring it back in the second 9, and Frankie's team wins. Then we get into the par 3 course, which is just, like I said, it's amazing. It's like the coolest par 3 course by far I've ever seen on golf anything. And they decide to like pick their own teams. Now, it's never said that Paige said she was a coach or she was the leader, but it's implied that her, Brad, Dulkey, I am blanking on his name, the English or Scottish guy, and then who was the third team? Fourth team. Anyways, as they're figuring out the teams, Paige definitely stacked her team. She definitely made sure that she had a hitter. She ended up taking Mo. She had Frankie, who were all good golfers. Now, I could see why some people had a problem with this, because she was definitely like taking the advantage, but at the same time to say like, well, that's not fair because she's a great golfer and then she took these 2 other golfers. It means that you have to admit that she's a great golfer. And a lot of these people who are hating on her are the same people who are constantly in her fucking comments and constantly in the comments of the Internet International saying that she's a shitty golfer. So just more of like, no, she was aggressive at that point and getting the best team and making the best decisions. She definitely made very, very smart decisions. She played excellent in golf. There is a great clip that I'll probably post of, I think his name is Trent and Fat Perez, sitting in the cart and having a conversation about cheering her on, and it just goes horribly wrong for them, and it was hilarious. I will have to post that. And ends up with Paige and Brad's team winning the par 3 course, and moving on to what we're having tonight. Anyways, other points. Obviously, Chaz is the best, who you'll see during this. He's the breakout star in all of this. I love Sarah Winter. I've been following her for a little bit. Swinter. I have people that I would love to see next year. I have some things that I like to like. I think are going to change next year. I'll have to put that in another video because I have a client soon. Okay, bye. Oh, did I not stop it? I was going to talk about Lacey and her being pulled. It doesn't matter. Okay. She's cute. Bye.